I'll text you.
Welcome to Between Two Pastries. We are supposed to be live right now. This is Nicole.
Hey everyone, it's Annie. We're
You
tech
know,
dummies.
no, this whole thing just having a hard time logging in. We have like literally three computers at our access and nothing's happening. So, wouldn't that just be the case? But we are going to record live anyway. I am not going to edit this so you know what it's like.
So it's like it's live.
Yeah, and then I'm just going to post this right to Facebook and our
People
podcast.
can watch it.
Yeah, we'll just do it. We'll just do it like that. We'll just do it like
And
that.
if anyone wants to assist us, please feel free to assist the computer dummies.
Oh my gosh,
I'm actually proud that I don't know how to like do social media crap. Like I feel like that's an honor too.
well,
Like
I think the thing is, like in this situation, it just wouldn't let us. So I
yeah,
mean,
let's go with
it's
that.
like, I mean, we need somebody like managing this stuff, so we know because we don't know how to bypass certain things. We don't know how
No,
to just make it
no,
work.
no.
Anyway,
Yeah. Yeah. So here's our live version of the live.
woo woo. All right, so what are we talking about today? I had mentioned when we were talking about talking live and going live, talking about weight loss in general, just because that has just
Yes.
been such a big thing. Obviously, beginning of the year until now, then there'll be like a resurgence of it, basically. I mean, it never actually goes away, but, I know we were originally going to kind of speak a little bit.
No, it's terrible. I mean, I went to heat up my coffee half an hour ago and someone was in there on FaceTime, like talking about calories and how many calories was this and that and that. And I'm like, you're in a public place, shut the fuck up.
Right.
Like, no one wants to hear about that.
No,
A
and not
and
only that, like you're in a behavioral health place.
yeah, right. I know.
So
Why are we talking about this? Yeah,
why?
I know. It's so frustrating. Everyone talks about weight. Everyone congratulates, people about weight and comments about weight. And there's so many weight bias that exist. And it's just, no matter if your weight is where you want it to be or not, no one ever wants to talk about it. No one should want to talk about it. It should not be a talked about thing. It's uncomfortable for a lot of people on many different levels. It's very personal, very, very personal for people and what they're experiencing. But it oftentimes just comes up in conversation, not with me, but like you just hear this conversation going on and it's wackadoodly.
I know, I know. I'm going to include an article that I have around weight loss in general and kind of like the overall like failure rate and just how it's just not the thing to be focusing in on. And I think that that's kind of what even when I'm working with people who do want to achieve weight loss, it's like, okay, great. Again, and you and I have talked about this many, many times. Weight loss is still the symptom. It's the symptom of other things falling into place. And this is what we always say, if and only if your body actually wants to.
Correct.
There's still that piece because your body has set point or it's or not only that but like there's a particular place where your body actually does function better, right? Like when I think about like some of my clients who people would look at them and be like, they don't need to lose weight. Yeah, I know exactly. It's do you know what I'm trying to say? Like,
Yeah, absolutely. And I think unfortunately for so many people, they don't it that what you're saying that it is a symptom does not register, it does not make sense, and it's not widely acceptable. And the retort is, well, I'll just go use a GPL-1.
mhm.
So and that's what I think kind of sucks is there's always instead of understanding one's body, we just continue to push all of this stuff onto it, whether it
Yes.
be continued weight loss regimens, diets, shame, but also now medications, FDA approved or not. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like
Yeah.
it's we keep beating our bodies up instead of trying to understand it and accept it.
Right.
And I think part of what people struggle with is that word acceptance, because that means that I'm um what's the word I'm looking for? If I accept it, that means I've given up.
Yeah, right. Which is totally and completely false. And that's also
It's
based
weird.
on a really lousy belief, right? Like just
Yeah.
old messaging. And it's like it doesn't mean you're giving up. Again, the whole premise is to care for your body, not to deplete, deprive, restrict, hold down, push back. You know,
Right.
that's not
And
the goal. The goal is to allow your body to thrive. And in order for it to thrive, you have to care for it in a particular way.
right. And being overweight or obese is not an indicator of poor
No,
health.
none.
It's not an indicator of health or poor health or
Zero.
anything for that matter. It is
Legit
just
zero.
simply words that are, that started for insurance purposes. Like
That's right.
there, that's literally the only reason why those words exist, is because insurance companies could get reimbursement. So
Mhm.
like people try to understand, like it's a moneymaker. You have fallen into a moneymaker pathway, not for yourself though. Like for
Well, and
everyone
even like a
else.
mental trap, you know?
Yeah, it's a crazy track, 100%. And again, like that's not to say, someone you know meets with you or I and wants to improve, their fat mass, their muscle mass. They want to learn how to eat appropriately to support their bodies so they have proper growth or proper outcomes or what have you. Like that's a different approach than I want to lose weight.
Mhm.
I want to lose weight, and people have learned to just say, well, I want to be healthier. But like when you identify or try to ask them to identify what that means,
Mhm.
well, I want, I should look better. I should be more toned. I shouldn't have this fat on my underarms, or, my thighs are rubbing together, or it all comes then back to body image. Once in a while you hear, well, my blood pressure is really high or my cholesterol is really high. Weight is not something that impacts those biochemical markers.
Mhm.
Those biochemical markers are not impacting your weight. So they don't necessarily have a direct relationship in most cases. So like you can be in an overweight, obese, for lack of better terms,
Mhm.
category and still have great cholesterol, great blood pressure, great blood sugars, all the above.
Well, the opposite is true too, though. I mean, so the go-to for most physicians, as I am so sick and tired of hearing, is, oh, well, if you lose weight, that'll go away. Well, guess what? It's not going to.
No,
Is the
it doesn't.
behavior going away? Is what is actually like the chemistry of what is going into the body, is that changing? It may not. I don't know. But something has to change in order for the body to act differently. That is what that is. And the thing is,
Yeah,
if people, just because people lost weight does not necessarily mean that those parameters that you were just talking about are going to
right.
just instantly change. Could there be a slight change? Maybe, and maybe not. That's the whole bottom line, is just because a body gets smaller doesn't mean it gets better. And sure,
Correct.
does not mean
Correct.
it gets healthier, you know? And sure,
No,
that also
no.
does not mean it has more longevity. Again, the stress
Right.
of weight loss in general can actually increases your morbidity rate. I mean,
Correct. Right.
there's legit documentation. I mean, solid documentation around that as well.
Right.
So it's like we've got to let go of this obsession. I don't understand this. I'm still having a hard time just understanding this obsession. And I don't know if it just has to do with like acceptance, but it's certainly like, I don't know, you know?
If we're live, we might get, like some questions, and I'll
Love that.
encourage people who do listen to put questions in the comments on this post,
Yes.
because we do want to hear about it. And I think it is, society has just normalized everything that you're talking about, that, you know, it's normal to want weight loss.
Right.
It's normal to want healthy foods, and it's normal to call XYZ foods healthy or unhealthy. It's normal to criticize someone who eats at McDonald's. It's normal to look at someone and say, you must not go to the gym. It's normal to place that judgment based on weight, shape, size, or intake on just about anyone.
Right.
Um, and I think because of that, it has become so normal that people don't understand what, now would be the not so normal way of doing things or looking at things. So they can't even think about another perspective. They maybe never even learned another perspective. They maybe never remember a time in their life where they just let their body be and listen to their hunger fullness cues. Like that's the piece that, like, I don't think people understand. And as I'm conducting so much research right now on malnutrition for adults and kids, if we look just simply at kids, which goes up to 20 years old, so maybe not so much a kid, but if we look at all of that, starting from birth, you're hey, you're at the 50th percent, you're at the 90th percent, you're at the 30th percent. Kids are often, they're tracked based on their growth, and to avoid malnutrition, to assume and allow for proper growth to occur. And as early as 4, 5, 6 years old, we can have manipulations start, and you're pulled from that growth chart. And when someone who's 18, let's say, who was trending at the 90th percentile and started to get, I need to lose weight, I need to do all of the things, and is now at the 20th, they should be going back to the 90th percentile and really continuing that trend from an internal physiological standpoint. Mm-hmm. And that's the piece that people don't realize is happening, that when these thoughts and behaviors and drive for weight loss starts at an early age, we're affecting the trajectory of our growth, of proper growth, of to allow our organs to do what they need to do properly in our 20s, 30s, 40s, 80s, etc. So, like, yeah. And so what people don't realize is every body is different, starting from the moment that we're born. And yeah, there are instances where infants are born early and all of those things, and we have to, you're going to work with a dietitian to get to the right trajectories. And most of those kids end up where they need to be after the first few months, and all of those things, and they get onto their proper growth track. But just talking about normal infants, everyone is different, and they really should remain on their same track. But you do have a lot of adults who have kids who maybe are on that track that isn't desirable, and parents will start to manipulate that child's intake.
Exactly.
Oh, you're running around too much, therefore you have ADHD, therefore you shouldn't be having red dye. Faulty science. You are sitting around too much drinking Gatorade, you shouldn't have sugar. Faulty science. Like, it all comes back to this, a lot of social media driven, a lot of misuse of different of information by practitioners that are not truly practitioners, giving parents, giving adults, kids, whomever, faulty information about their body, about nutrition, all of these things. So again, in my research with all of this stuff, it's really fascinating how much relates back to what has become a societal norm as it relates to food and food, nutrition, body. And so long, closing the loop on that, it really is tough, because a lot of people speak even to us, like, and certainly put a question out there if you have it, but like, oftentimes they talk about, in presentations or in groups or individuals, about weight bias, and can't be weight bias. And we still get that follow-up of, I need to lose weight, and I would like to lose weight. How do I do that? And it's like, were you not listening to anything we just talked about? Like, and we see that a lot, because again, the norms and the perception and the beliefs are so tangled into what is driven by society, which is not just social media. It's our peers, it's people in charge, it's our doctors, it's everywhere, it's TV, it's all of the things. We don't even know that what we're saying is so maladaptive and unusual and unfit for our bodies.
Yep.
So just food for thought.
No, it's wonderful food for thought because that is part of the issue, definitely.
Yeah. So that's that's I think the hardest part is really, and for lack of a better word, I don't want to say convince someone, but really get someone to understand that their beliefs are really, really foggy, jaded,
Right.
manipulated, all of the above to be a certain way, because the ultimate goal by the manipulator is a buy-in.
Mm-hmm.
If you buy in to, like, even your doctors, if I can get them to buy into this GLP-1,
Sure.
I get a kickback.
Right.
Diet companies, if I get someone to buy into my diet, they're paying me now.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know, this is a free podcast. We don't get paid for anything.
Mm-hmm.
We don't get paid for any advice that we're telling you. Just for the record, we have no stake in this game.
Right.
We don't even claim, like, hey, come be our clients. We don't even do that. Like, please understand, we wrote a book because we wanted stuff available. Yeah, we're going to charge you for our work, but that's about it. But we don't talk about it in every podcast. We don't try to
No.
sell it to you.
No.
No, try to understand who's giving you the right information about
Right.
weight loss, or body, or all of these things. So again, it's really tough because I understand people want to lose weight. I understand people can be really frustrated with their weight, with their body, but you got to really dig, 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 dig deep, deep within your soul and your brain to go back to, why did that start? What happened?
Yeah, I agree.
Because at some point in everyone's life, we all were fine with our bodies.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And we got to go back to that point and think about what was going on, what was
That's right.
happening. How did I get to this point of feeling like I always need to change myself? Or even if I only feel like I need to change myself once,
Mm-hmm.
even if it's only 5 pounds, even if it's this or that, or, oh, I have to have knee surgery. What does this go back to?
Right. Right.
So that's what I really hope everyone kind of gets from it, if you will,
Mm-hmm.
and understands.
Right. I agree. And I'm still holding close to, when we take care of ourselves, like, things fall into place.
Yeah, they do. You don't think about food.
Mm-mm.
You don't think about weight. When you're at the right weight, all the things, you don't think about those things.
Right. Right.
You're not tired. You're sleeping.
Right. Right.
All of those things. We're not stressed. We're not bouncing our leg up and down. We're not,
Mm-hmm.
all of those things.
Right. Right. And kind of on a flip note, too, just, from what I see and sometimes of, what comes my way is this idea of, if I follow what someone's telling me, that basically takes away, like, the behavior or the maladaptive behaviors that I have around food, my body, myself. And the thing is that doesn't go away until it gets addressed. Like, you can't out diet it, you can't out exercise it, you can't starve yourself enough. Or, do you know what I'm trying to say?
Correct. Right.
Because those things are always there, and even if they went aside for like a hot minute, they come back, and they come back hard, right?
Mm-hmm. Right. Right.
The urges, the behaviors, like I said, it's all, whatever
Right.
maladaptive
Right. They
whatever.
never, that stuff never goes away.
No, you can't
Yeah,
just
it
do
never
that.
goes
And
away.
it's the same with this medication, of people are like, well, if I just have this med, then it's just taken care of. No, again, your behaviors, your beliefs, how you treat yourself is not going to go away because you're on this medication. What I can guarantee is that your muscle will all go away
Yep.
when you're on
Yeah.
that medication, especially if you're not, especially if you're not working with, someone that understands how it works and why you kind of actually do need to eat in a particular way. And it's just the whole thing. But it's also like getting your body to appear smaller doesn't get rid of your maladaptive coping mechanisms, doesn't get rid of how you feel about yourself, doesn't get rid of, it's the same god dang thing. We still have to look at why, you know?
Right. But people don't want to explore that because typically with the desire for continued weight loss or desire for most weight loss or body, dissatisfaction comes trauma.
Oh, of course. Yeah, no, of course. But even if it's just not trauma, it's just sometimes it's just an inability to cope.
Correct. Yeah, that's true too. But
Like
that's super uncomfortable.
right, right. Of course it is,
Yeah,
right?
super
Or
uncomfortable.
right, right. But again, it's still kind of looking into that. Again,
Mhm.
what we give our power to runs our life, basically. So
Yeah, but some people really enjoy giving power to the diet industry and the,
mhm.
hate my body, mentality
Yeah,
and push, push, push and discipline and 4 workouts a day and
right.
choosing a workout and a salad instead of, playing with my kid and pizza.
Hmm.
I mean, if that's the life you choose, more power to you. That's fine. But there's the grass is greener on the other side. I promise. It actually is
You
greener.
know what it actually is, though? Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
hands down. I mean, it frees up so much headspace in general,
It's amazing.
so much more energy. Yeah, it's
Yep.
fun when it's fun getting people to the other side too when they have.
Oh, I love that. That's been one of my favoriteest things over the years. That's yes. Yes.
It's like a rebirth in a sense where people are just like, it's like I could never imagine I could feel what I'm feeling, right? Like, because people don't even really know what they're gonna feel. Like they just know they want to feel better, but they don't really know what that actually is. If
Right.
they find that, and then when they do, even though they still can't describe it, but when they can
Exactly.
feel it in their body, and when they can be in their body and feel, safe in their body and secure and grounded and
Yep.
in trust with it. I mean, it's amazing.
Right. No, I agree. I think over the years you certainly have more people who struggle than succeed. But when you have those success stories, what's really great is they start to see how crazy the weight loss journey is, and B, they start to get frustrated with other people who are
Yes,
who
because
are
they
trying
see
to
it
engage
now.
in that. And they see
Yeah.
it now. It's like there's the light bulb goes off.
Mhm.
And that's a really interesting thing to see.
Yes.
Um, so that's a, you know, it's cool. It's a really cool thing.
It is totally a cool thing.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. When people give that up, I love that.
Yeah. Yeah.
100%. So, I mean, again, I mean, and I would say what everyone who reaches out to, typically that's what it is they, I'd like to lose some weight, work with a dietitian, lose some weight, meal plan. Um, you're going to have to explore why, at least with us and a lot of other dietitians that are out there before, okay, let's cut your calories. Let's not eat this. Let's eat this. I mean, how does that make you feel good? It doesn't make you feel good. I
No, of
promise you
course
that.
it doesn't.
It's yucky. So understand that like with weight loss, true, necessary weight loss comes conversations that are going to be uncomfortable, comes the reality that maybe you don't need any,
Mhm.
comes, a lot of different conversations.
Mhm.
It's, I hate to use the phrase it's a lifestyle change, but anything that you do will remain permanent,
Mhm.
or should. And the more you go back and forth, this yo-yo thing, the more
Mm-mm.
your, biochemical markers, blood sugars are going to get
Everything
wonky. There's
changes.
more
Yeah.
likelihood for diabetes,
Right.
pancreas issues,
Right.
liver issues, all of that stuff. So it's not worth it.
No,
Or
it's
10
not.
pounds? No way.
No kidding.
I
No.
would I would much rather have extra 10 pounds than have diabetes. Sorry. Like, yeah. So, and a lot of people don't understand that. That's, how come if I'm eating healthy, I'll get diabetes? Because you weren't, and then you were, and then you weren't, and then you were, and then you
Right.
weren't, and you
Because of
were.
the yo-yo. And but that's also my other point. So then you have like the person who kind of begins on a journey, they start making a little and you know, just not finding a different word than journey at this moment, but
Yeah, you're fine.
right, I know. Kind of starts on a thing, whatever, or starts doing things differently. I'd rather say that. Starts
Yeah.
doing things differently and then finds themselves in a situation where they're like, oh, it can't look exactly like I need it to look. So then screw everything. And then it's just like, blah, and then people go crazy. Like then it's just like they over all the things. They completely don't pay attention to what their body is telling them as far as if they're even hungry or full or if they even want the thing. Then it just becomes this like either, self sabotage thing of, oh, it can't be perfect, so screw it, or I messed up, or something like that. And then it's a massive rebellion thing,
Mm-hmm. Right.
versus the thing of, again, when you're starting to do different things, you're going to be in different situations that you just, you got to just kind of keep working with. It's not going to be look perfect all the time, but you can still do the thing in a modified way. You know what I mean?
Right.
And if you
Yep.
don't have what
100%.
yeah, I mean, it's the whole thing. You still have to walk through it. You still have to walk through it. And that's
Yep.
where a lot of people, again, this quote unquote, I hate this term of starting and stopping, right?
Mm-hmm.
We're not starting anything. We're just paying more attention to something else than what we
Correct.
should do.
Yeah, I'm not a
So,
big fan of that start, stop.
right. Well,
Today's Monday, I'm starting this. Today's Sunday or whatever.
but my point is that it takes just consistency, and not just
Mm-hmm.
consistency, but it takes showing up for yourself. And I
Right.
think what's so interesting is how often people just say, when they say screw it, they're saying screw it to themselves.
Correct. Right.
I don't think they realize that. It's like your rebellion over something not being perfect is hurting you. Like that,
You. Yeah.
it doesn't have to be that way at all. Like it doesn't have to remotely be that way, right? So
Right.
again, to make any kind of substantial change, it will definitely take the consistency. And I think people don't like putting in that it's there's something that people struggle with, especially when you have messaging of you could lose 20 pounds in 10 days.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
that
It
double.
might cause intense nausea, but no big deal.
Yeah. Well, but the issue with that is, again, people are losing substantially all their muscle.
Other muscle.
That's
Yeah.
the that's the biggest issue ever.
Right.
And the thing about it is that losing muscle doesn't actually help your health.
No,
In
no,
fact,
no,
it can reverse it
no.
because of
Bone
what
bone
Andy was saying
density, like,
too.
oh
When
my
you have
God.
less muscle, you are less sensitive to insulin. You
Correct.
you can potentially have higher blood sugar levels just because of that. Like your muscle helps you actually
Correct.
keep all of those other levels down. Now
Correct.
we might be starting to deal with some other things. So again, like this, any quick weight loss is always a result of muscle loss. It is
Correct.
never a result of body fat loss. Can there be some? There can be some, but it's such a fraction. It's
Yeah,
not
it's not much.
right.
Not until the muscle's gone.
No, and that's the whole thing. That's what it's like. I'm just trying to help people understand. And again, for medical reasons or however, like I do actually have a lot of clients who are on this. However, they are also doing the work with it. Like it's hard
Correct.
doing the
Yep.
work while they're doing this. And I keep telling them this is like simply a little supplement. It's a supplement to what you're doing. It is not the answer to the thing. It is a
Right.
supplement. Like there are still steps that must be taken in order for any of it to give you an outcome that you're looking for.
Right. Here's the last thing I'll say about weight and trends.
Cool.
Let's say, I won't even give an example. If you are intuitively eating, your body is going, as an adult, you're an adult. We're not talking about kids. Kids are
Right.
different. As an adult, you're eating intuitively, listening to your hunger and fullness cues. Your body is going to be at the weight that it should be at. So, for example, if you're in college and college is college and you lose a bunch of weight, your body may bounce back. You may bounce back a little bit higher. And as you start to be intuitive, learn how to do it, or maybe you do know how to do it, and whatever, you listen to your hunger fullness cues, you're going to fall back to where you were supposed to be, always have been, all of the things. So keep that in mind. Like your body has a place it wants to be there. And it might be a bigger body than what you and your brain or you and social media or you and your doctor think is accurate.
It's so true.
It's not black and white. It is
No.
very gray.
And it's not based on a number either. I mean, you know what I'm trying
Well,
to
number
say?
or look.
Yeah, a look. Yes, a
Yeah,
look.
because now the number doesn't matter. Now it's about being toned. Remember, like there's this whole wave of now, like, well, weight doesn't matter, and we can show all of these weight inclusive athletes, but it's because they're toned. So like there's a drive from thinness and now it's to toned, and
Yeah.
it's all the same shit.
I just think to like just take care of yourself.
Being toned is not necessarily taking care of yourself,
No, let your body
especially as a
do
female.
whatever. Yeah, I mean, just
Especially as a
take
female.
care of yourself.
Yeah,
You
we
know?
we need fat mass for multiple reasons, and
Oh,
one of which is
so
bone
many.
health.
Oh,
Yeah,
gosh.
I know. So as Nicole just said, how muscle is important, fat is also important. Again, these are letting your body just be. And the better you are at listening to your hunger and fullness cues, the better your body will be for you. And
Self-regulate.
right.
It's
Now,
the
if you're
things
saying, I
more
don't
you
know how
can.
to, I have no hunger and fullness cues. I don't know how to eat. I'm on a schedule. I have to eat lunch at this time, but I'm never hungry. Let's have a conversation. And I'm not saying a build conversation. Come on the podcast. Let's talk about it. Let's do something where, what does hunger and fullness look like and how do you normalize it? Can you eat when you're hungry? Did you ever talk to your boss and say, I'm not hungry. I need to change my lunch hour? I don't know. They have a
Right,
conversation. Open up about these things.
right.
There still are places, schools that don't let kids have snacks in their classroom. That's not okay. Say
It's not
something.
okay.
No, like there is still some old school stuff happening. Again, and we've talked about this. There's still people who don't go potty all day because work is
Oh
way
my
important.
gosh.
And they do it with food too.
Right,
No, stop abusing your body.
right. It's totally
That's
true.
it. That's self-harm in some way, shape, or form. Don't do it.
I agree.
Be respectful of your body and its needs. And what it does need is nutrition.
Mhm.
It needs to go to the bathroom. You need to release that. You need breaks. You need water. All of those things. So hunger and fullness plays a big role. And the more you listen to those cues, your body will be where it wants to be,
Right, right,
whether
right,
or not you like it or not. And we
right.
all have to accept it.
No, I know. Well, we'd love to hear from you again. I am literally going to roll this out right away and throw this on Facebook and also put it on our podcast platform. But we do want to hear from you. We want your questions. We will do a follow-up pod with questions or comments or whatever. Would love to do that too. Feel free to write a comment in the comment section here on Facebook. Or feel free to drop us a message on Messenger or leave us an email at between2, that's the number 2, pastries.com.
And don't hesitate to ask any questions or feel weird or judged. We're not going to judge you by your questions or anything like that, even though I said we're going to get questions that are stupid. There's no stupid question. I'm just
There
being
aren't
silly.
stupid questions. I think what you're referring to are just things that just make us angry about what's out there and what people are dealing with.
Yeah, it's not about you as a listener or a person
Oh,
or someone
God.
who struggles with nutrition. It's the frustration that you're in that place because 99.9% someone or something put you in that place.
That's right. That's
And
right.
that's always really hard.
Hmm.
I'm too passionate.
Gosh.
I
Well,
know.
thanks for listening, guys. We really appreciate it. If you want to show any support at all, we welcome you over at our Patreon page, Between Two Pastries at Patreon. So check us out there. But otherwise, thanks for listening. Hopefully, we'll do this again, and hopefully, we'll actually do it like for
Figure it out.
live. So thanks, guys. Take care.
Ah,